my calculations are correct, when this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit.
They're here.
Do you really think you have a chance against us, Mr. Cowboy?
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
It's showtime.
Right, welcome everybody to another episode of the VHS Strikes Back. I'm one of your hosts, Chris, and my co-host and very good friend is Dave.
Hey there, Chris, and hello to our listeners out there. Welcome to the VHS Strikes Back, the show where we dust off the old video player and go on a nostalgic journey to look at the good and the bad movies of yesteryear. Now, Chris, what are we going to review this week?
Well, Dave, you picked an absolute corker, and it was actually been on my list in the background, and something we've talked about from the start of this podcast, but we're going back to 1988. It's a Tom Hanks, one of his, most probably successful movies, even now, even though he's done some others. He's probably one of his most famous, especially one of the scenes. And it is called Big Dave. So, I know it's a long time ago, and it's, 36 years ago nearly, but do you remember seeing this for the first time? And not to age us both, Dave, but yeah.
Yes, definitely. Well, Chris, I can't say I remember the first time, but I remember watching this over and over again. Got this out early on, I seem to remember, when, it came out on video. So it would have been about 89. It originally came out at the cinemas 88. Chris, in 1989, I'd have been 13. This movie was literally made for me. And all the other fuckers who were born in the same year. But mainly for me. But it was one of those, I just felt it spoke to me, It just hit. Because you are at that point in your life where you feel like you're grown up now, and you can look down at people who are younger than you and go, well, you're kids, but I'm not, because I'm 13, I'm a teenager now, so it's kind of like, and some of the things that happen later on in this, Chris, those are also, oh yeah, I'd like that to be me. I'm sure we'll get onto some of those things. But yeah, just I absolutely love this movie, and if we talk about big hitters from the 80s, no pun intended, but you've got to have this on your list, haven't you? It's got to be one of the most iconic movies that's out there. Things like the Zoltar machine, the walking piano. There's so many iconic bits that are just in pop culture now. But how about yourself, Chris?
Yeah, you know what, Dev? I've been thinking about this. We always do. It's something that we've both seen or enjoyed when we were younger. So I've been about 10 when this came out. So again, like you say, it's our perfect sweet spot. And I think I probably watched it early 90s, I think, maybe 89. It depends, doesn't it? I don't think we ever rented it. I was probably too engrossed in Martin Riggs and his psycho pension from Lethal Weapon at this point. But I remember seeing it probably early 90s. And yeah, I just loved it. I think it was one of the movies, a bit like Back to the Future. I remember going to watch an absolute rip-off version of this in Vice Versa with Judge Reinhold, and because it's Billy out of Beverly Hills Cop. But I can't remember a lot about it. I just remember it was father and son ended up swapping, so it was a slightly different take on this, but the premise was pretty similar. I remember watching it at the cinema. But yeah, this is just one of them iconic things, and I think more than anything for me, the one thing that always sits with me was the fact that he nails a woman when he's 13, Dave, which we need to talk about when we get into it. And also we sound so wrong when I say it now, and then also the piano scene's just iconic. I always wanted to go on that piano, and I know it isn't that store's not sort of real in the show, but the actual piano was actually there for a long time in New York, but I never actually got to have a go at it, which I've seen them since, but that's one of the things growing up, is to think I need to have a go at that. So yeah, so I'm really looking forward to this one.
Right, here we go though. Could you actually play the piano? Because the whole scene is like, they've done piano lessons, so they know the patterns of play. I imagine that if that thing was right there in the middle of a toy store, most people would be like, dun, 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 and then it just sounds shit.
No, listen to me, right? I'm not saying I'm fucking Mozart or anything, but there's no way that nobody can not play chopsticks, Dave. Come on, we're pretty. I can't play the start of him, but I can play the.
Oh right, yeah.
I'll lose it when he goes, then we'll lose it then, Dave, but I can do that bit.
My dad taught me one that you just play on like the black keys, and it was like a You ever heard that? No. Don't make me carry on. Honestly, it's just using the black keys, and it's a really easy sort of pattern to know. So probably I would venture towards that if I come across the walking piano, so to speak.
Well, I think I can't not say what I'm about to say, Dave.
Go on.
As a wise man and great man once said, bit racist.
Don't be pulling out the David Brentisms on me.
Yeah. If you've not watched The Office, then it'll be lost on you. But yeah, I had to say it. Sorry.
Oh dear.
Oh,
but yeah,
God.
I question if, think of the poor store workers as well. You had this walking piano. It's like, oh, for fuck's sake. Actually, though, Chris, I have to say, whenever I go to St Pancras station or by King's Cross, which is a bit more famous internationally for Harry Potter stuff, they've got pianos in there, and there's always some smart ass fucker there. In fact, multiple of them. They've got multiple pianos, and there's someone who's fucking shit hot playing away on the piano. But I'm like, don't you have somewhere to be? Like, do you literally do you get the train here and just like, I've been practicing piano for 10 years. I'm gonna, do a gig, Chris. I'm gonna, come here. All the commuters will stand around and worship me. But I don't know. Genuinely, like, there are always loads of people like really, really good at playing piano in there.
You know what? It's funny you say that. I watch him on TikTok. There's one guy who's got. Oh, Dave, he's got the worst haircut ever. He's got like a Liam Gallagher like proper haircut. You know when he had it like past his ears, but he's about 60. He dyes it black. Unbelievable pianist. He goes in pubs as well and plays them, and he like sits up. He does a lot of the, the rock and roll stuff and that as well. But he'll do different things and he'll play them. And then there's another guy who pretends to be a worker in a high-vis jacket, the cleanest high-vis jacket you've ever seen, Dave. Phenomenal. And then they both play together as well. And there's a young Asian kid who's phenomenal. He's about 12, and he's obviously some sort of master. Absolutely prodigy. Really, really good. Really good. So I do. It's one of them instruments, Dave. I'd love to have learnt to play it, but there is no way that I had the attention span. And I remember working in Sheffield Station, Dave, building and installing big digital panels. It's near Christmas, about 5 years ago. Piano's there. What does Chris do? Get us up, Dave. Just 2 unlimited. You'll need 3 keys for that, Dave. Remember the old song from the 90s? Yeah. Bloke come up straight after Dave and played some fucking proper classical piece of shit, and the lads were crying. We're right in front of him drilling, and he's not being cocky, or he's not like playing like Bohemian Rhapsody, which a lot of them do at the train stations, but he comes along and he just plays something dead elegant, and all the lads are just ripping the fuck out of me there. Me being dead cocky, I look like a right knobhead. But I do respect. It's like you playing the bass and the guitar. You're so good, and it's like I've never had the attention span properly to learn and play it. So especially a pianist as well, you're on a different level. That's always like Elton John. Everyone takes the piss in that, but to play and sing like the way he does is unbelievable. So yeah, I've got so much respect for that. Instrument, Dave, as I have my own instrument, which has got nothing to do with Big Dave. So shall we get into the trailer?
Let's go.
For Josh Baskin, life was a little unfair.
Told you to take out the garbage. You're gonna miss the bus. I'm gonna tell you again, Josh. Joshua Baskin. Josh.
Until he made a little wish.
I wish I were big.
Sweetheart, it's 7:30. Are you up? Josh.
20th Century Fox presents Tom Hanks. Big.
I turned into a grown-up, Mom. I made this wish on a machine, and it turned me into a grown-up.
So now what?
You get a job.
Cannot get a job. I play with all of this stuff, and then I tell them what I think.
And they pay you for that? Suckers!
Vice President? He's only been here a week.
See that girl over there in the red? She'll wrap her legs around you so tight you'll be begging for mercy.
Well, I'll stay away from her then.
I loved your ideas on the squeezy doll line.
Thanks.
What were you like when you were younger?
Oh, well, I wasn't much different.
Eject your seat!
Who are you? I'm his girlfriend. I want to spend the night with you.
Do you mean sleep over?
Yeah.
Okay. But I get to be on top.
What is so special about Baskin?
He's a grown-up.
How do I feel about what?
How do you feel about me?
You're only young once.
This is important!
I'm your best friend. What's more important than that, huh?
But for Josh,
I miss my family, Susan, and I want to go home.
Oh my God, you're married.
it just might last a lifetime. You'll never forget Tom Hanks.
It's beluga.
In Big.
What were you like when you were younger?
Oh, well, I wasn't much different.
Eject your seat!
Who are you? I'm his girlfriend.
12-year-old Josh Baskin is told he is too short for a carnival ride called the Superloops while trying to impress a girl. Dejected, he inserts a coin into an antique fortune teller machine called Zoltar and makes a wish to be big. It dispenses a card saying your wish is granted, as Josh discovers the machine has been unplugged the entire time. Now Chris, what do you reckon to the opening of this movie?
I don't know, but you went all Big Brother at the end, didn't you?
Yeah.
41.
Day 106 in the VHS house.
Chris is still going on about his fucking shoulder injury. But anyway, no, you know what though? It's funny with this because I don't think I've seen this for, God, it must be 20 odd years at least. I've seen it a few times,
wow.
Definitely. Yeah, maybe it isn't that long, but it fell a long time because there was a few of the beats I forgot, you know, at the start. But the one thing that slaps you in the face more than anything when you're watching it is how quickly it gets into him changing to Tom Hanks. It's as if, I don't know what it is. I'm not saying I'm fucking oil painting, but that lad who plays Josh, he's a bit of a fucking ugly fucker, isn't he? They're trying to make him look like Tom Hanks, right? Yeah, but he's trying to look like Tom Hanks. I don't know, he's got to look like, you know, he looks like that little wanker off Coronation Street, Simon, who's I don't know if you watch it, Dave. He's about 24, he's got kids and everything, and he's supposed to be like this 16, 17-year-old kid. When he was younger, a bit like Chesney off Corrie, he was a really cute kid, and everyone's like, oh, Chesney's great, and he had Smichael and all, and he's still in it. And then
I remember
like,
Chesney.
Yeah, well, Chesney's still in it. He's got a fucking schnoz bigger than mine now, Dave. Definitely hasn't followed him, his boyish good looks. But then this fucking Simon's the same. He's got a receding fucking hairline, like a Kevin Keegan haircut, and then you're supposed to believe he's like some young kid. But anyway, I digress. Yeah, the kid who plays him, not convinced. I know they're trying to make him look like Tom Hanks and the hair and everything, but yeah, it was very quick how it goes on. I mean, his friend Dave. I mean, we're going multiverses again now, Dave. So obviously, with John Hurt's in this again. You know, Kevin McAllister's dad and fucking James Marshall's dad last week from Gladiator, whatever he was called in that. You know, so we know that's
Robert Loggia.
Loggia. So it's
the Robert Loggia trilogy, isn't it?
Yeah, not the Logia, Dave. The Loggia.
Yeah, not Loggia.
I finally call him properly now, Robert Loggia. So it's this is a full multiverse that we're going down. But the kid who actually is his best friend, Dave, is also the kid who fucking bullies Rocky's son in Rocky 5 and becomes his mate when he steals his jacket. So he's come full circle. So we've got Rocky 5. So we've actually got a boxing link again this week, Dave, somehow. I don't know if I've linked that, but there you go. But no, I think that's what surprised me.
And I mean, I'm not doubting your research, but is this one of those where he looks a little bit like that?
No, right.
Kid?
Let's fucking no. It is. I'm telling you. Let me investigate.
So what year was Rocky 5?
1990.
Not that I doubted it, Chris, but I've just gone to Jared Rushton's IMDb page, and I'm searching for Rocky, and weirdly, nothing is coming back.
Anyway, back to the young Josh looking like a man-child. Right, Dave, let's go back to... You fuck off, Dave. Let me investigate.
I'm intrigued. Who is this kid? I mean, the timeline would probably check out, I guess. I mean, even though... when was Rocky 5? Rocky 5 was 1990, wasn't it? So it'd have been 2 years after this. So the timeline sort of checks out.
Right, let's investigate, Dave. Let's just... Chris Phelps investigates. I'm on it now. You've done me by doing that. Honestly, you've absolutely done it. Oh, he's not even in the fucking credits on IMDb. Oh, fuck off. Right, I'll have an investigate afterwards. Anyway, back to the movie, Dave.
So he looks like the kid.
Alright, he may change his name by default, Dave.
Maybe it's a different multiverse. It's like when you had, in the Spider-Man movie, you had Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield in there. Maybe it's that sort of multiverse.
Yeah, but they look nothing like each other.
Exactly, it's like that sort of multiverse.
Right. So let me get back to fucking action now, okay? Let me get back to it. So I was dead shocked that within 10 minutes, Josh is actually changed. I think that's pretty poor, if I'm being honest. I know it's to get to the good bits of it, but you'd think that we'd see a day in the life of Josh where everywhere he goes, people are calling him out, for being small and being, and all this, and he's had this, and a bit of dialogue with his best mate where he's like, "I'm sick to death of this. I'm so small," but he gets rejected by this girl who is about 2 foot taller than him. So how he thinks he's got a chance with her, Dave? But we've all dreamed as kids, Dave. We've all dreamed, and then he literally just goes straight to the Zoltar thing, doesn't he? And that's it, the end. And the next day he's an adult. I'm not saying that I enjoyed the film. I'll be honest, I enjoyed it, but that bit I think is pretty weak, and it's pretty poor. That I would have wanted, and maybe just 5 minutes more or some more dialogue to back it all up. But literally, because he can't fucking get it off of this, the high school sweetheart, he goes, right, that's it. I want to be big. I'm not saying we all, Dave. I'm 44 and still want to be fucking big, but I'll never have a fucking 10-inch cock. But I tried it with Zoltar. He's having none of it. So I don't know about you, but for me, it just feels very rushed to get to Tom Hanks. Really, to be honest.
Yeah, I had the same observation. To be honest, that it just happened so quickly. It was just almost straight in there, wasn't it? And you got the setup where the kids are playing they're going back home, and they're doing the little kind of song that they have, this little made-up song that they have between them, which will come into it later on. We hardly know Josh at all, but like I say, he's too short for the ride. That's it. Oh, this is a life-changing event, distraught. Like I say, probably another 5 minutes. If they'd have made this today, they'd have stretched that out a bit more. I think they'd have made you really feel like this was an impediment to him. It wasn't just this one-off event that he was just a little bit pissed off about. But yeah, I mean, I guess they just wanted to get to the Tom Hanks stuff earlier on, didn't they? And the one thing I'd say, Chris, in more recent years, you've got Shazam, which definitely took a lot from this movie.
Good call. Yeah.
But when he turns into, like, what's it, Zachary Levi, or what however you pronounce his name, he becomes younger. Like, so you've got a kid. Yeah, you've got a kid, and the kid's trying to act like a 13-year-old, like trying to act cool, trying to act grown up and stuff. But when it gets to the adult, I think Tom Hanks does it, and I think in Shazam they do it. They overshoot how young they're playing that character. So he becomes younger than young Josh.
You know what? That is an unbelievable observation. I'm going to give you this week's VHS Strikes Back award, Dave. We've never given it.
That's great for a weekly show.
Yeah. No, But I'm completely in agreement. That is the one thing watching it now which stands out more than anything, because the young Josh, as in the original Josh, he wants to get his leg over, doesn't he? He wants to cop off with this blonde piece, you know what I mean? And he's absolutely in there. She's the love of his life. He absolutely loves her. But you are completely right. Watching it this time, it's bizarre because he literally goes from being like, what's he supposed to be, 12, 13 years old, but then
so he's 12, isn't he?
Yeah.
And then he has his birthday to go into 13.
Sorry, that's it. Yeah, so he's supposed to be 13. However, he's acting as if he's about 7 or 8, Tom Hanks. From the minute he becomes the character, it's so bizarre, and I still can't believe that they didn't pick up on that. I'm not saying his performance isn't good, because there's some bits that are like quite interesting, but the fact that Josh is at that hormone stage, he's probably got a fucking crusty old sock under his bed, realistically. But then when he becomes an adult, he's completely naive to what's going on with Elizabeth Perkins' character, who I've got to say, Dave, always had the some sort of charm that Chris Phelps liked, even in the Flintstones as well. So as Wilma, but no, yeah. So I think that's it. When he actually becomes an adult, and then obviously you get the whole scene where he gets up. None of his clothes fit Dave, but his undies fit quite conveniently. You know, his undies fit, and then his mum's
It's like
there,
the Hulk, though, isn't it? You know, his pants always stretch enough.
Yeah. They're fucking. Well, I mean, I'm not being funny there. The one bit always tickles me is when he fucking looks down in his undies, and I'm thinking, I'm pretty sure mine's been the same since I was fucking 12. But there you go. I don't think everyone else around me's grown. I think mine stayed the same.
Is that it?
Yeah, it is quite a funny little bit, and there's some good bits, because like his mum. What's weird with like his mum, 1 minute she's hysterical and she's crying, and the next minute she's pulled a knife and gone full on fucking John Matrix, hasn't she? You know, because it's her son, she's angry, and he legs it, doesn't he? He legs it out the house. So yeah, it's a weird. Sorry, he goes to the school first of all, doesn't he? Then comes back, but it's a weird dynamic and everything with like his mum, because he wipes his feet and all that, and that's what struck me more than anything. Is Tom Hanks plays a great part, but it's just that I can't believe the director or someone didn't say, hang on a minute, you're playing this a little bit too coy. I suppose it's one of them though. The scenes of Elizabeth Perkins where obviously she's invested in him. If it had been Josh pre fucking becoming an adult, he'd have been like a fucking rat up a drain pipe one day. So it's weird. There's no context to why that's happened, or he's almost regressed in his mind, but his body hasn't.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't know. In the 80s, they didn't really care. And I'm sure we'll get on to more of that stuff. But I guess it's a hard one to play, isn't it? Because if they want to do a bit of a saucy wish fulfillment scene later on, you know, if you played young Josh as like 7 or 8, it becomes really wrong, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And then, not that 13 isn't, but I don't know. I could see why the filmmakers would steer clear of that one. But yeah, I think it's an observation, but it doesn't take away from the. You know, I think I could still lose myself in the movie, and I can still go with the fact that. You know, for a split second, I'm thinking, well, he's acting younger than young Josh. But then I can get over it, and then I'm just watching Tom Hanks, and I think I love his character. I love how he plays the role. You know, even though it is a bit younger, the innocence of it. You know, and I did have to laugh. You know, when he goes to see Billy. I mean, Billy is he must be street smart, but I'm just wondering. What has he experienced in life? Because literally, as soon as Josh, you know, adult Josh, Tom Hanks Josh, says to him, like, you know, it's me, Josh. He's like, ah! And he's running away. It's like,
stranger danger.
You've been in this situation before, sir. I think,
yeah.
You know?
But he takes it straight away, doesn't he? You know, I know we've got to go with the film, but he takes it that it's him because he sings the song, doesn't he? It's just...
yeah. Like that's it. He couldn't possibly have kidnapped Josh and got him to say about something that, you know, only the two of them would know. That couldn't possibly happen. It's like, all right, hey, it's you, Josh. Nice one.
Yeah. How are you doing? Are we going to get around this? So yeah, I'm with you. I think that That's what's bizarre with him. And then obviously Billy robs his dad's fucking bedside cabinet. They end up in New York, don't they? They go to a proper shitty place, but there's no you'd think, because obviously Josh is like, oh my god, I'm an adult. I know Billy, they go around a couple of arcades, but it's like that decision to, you need a job. You know what I mean? He's never worked. He's never passed the fucking, he's got a CV there, but he goes for a job. And I'm thinking, this would have been national news that this kid has gone missing and some bloke is in the house with the mum that she's chased out with a knife. This would be all over the news, wouldn't it? And obviously there'd be questions asked to Billy, because Billy's parents would be like, well, you're going nowhere. Someone's coming to their next door's house and stolen their kids. You're staying as close to us as possible. No, his parents just go, you just carry on about your day. You just fucking, Josh will come back when he's ready. Now with this, that's what I think is really weird, is this timeline of Josh like going to the shittiest, dingiest apartment, gets the job. Next minute, he's in he works for a couple of days. We don't really see the apartment again, the shitty one. But the next minute, he's in this penthouse. How much money's he earning, Dave, in New York to earn this fucking massive penthouse straight away? So the leaps in this are, I think in 2023, are ridiculous. But I think watching it, I've never noticed. And I still go with the film. I agree with you. I'm still going with it. It's still an enjoyable film, because Tom Hanks is great as an older Josh in this.
Yeah, I guess he gets his first job, doesn't he? It's just data entry or something like that. All fairly straightforward for him. You could see that, a kid would be able to do that. This was a bit of a transition, wasn't it? Into people starting to use computers at work and things. So, and Josh might have had one. Maybe he had one at home or at school or something like that. But I guess I can just about go with that. But then it's pure 80s nonsense, though, isn't it? The fact that, oh, look, he's got some great ideas. Let's invite you onto our executive team, because actually, Chris, you just can be part of the board because you seem to have good insight into children. Why is that? That seems a bit strange and predatory.
With Jimmy Savile book.
So it's just again, I'm kind of going with it, but it is utter nonsense. That he gets invited to the board. But in terms of the iconic bits, Chris, I mean, that's where he meets Paul and Susan. And I have to say, now when I'm watching it, I'm like, what exactly is that sort of relationship? Because they're kind of together. She's with Paul, Kevin McAllister's dad, living his multiple lives with his elder son in Chicago. Yeah.
He's low-key.
With his, underground boxing fighting elder son, and then Kevin McAllister as well in his other life, and then he's here banging Susan, but she's actually living in his apartment. I just a bit perplexed by it, and again, I think the pace of it all happens quite so quickly, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's funny you should say that, because I'm with you. I think what's really strange is she basically cheats on fucking Kevin McAllister's dad, and nothing is said, nothing is seen. Paul in it, she cheats on Paul. Like you just said Paul, but I think it's weird because, and what's weird about watching it, Dave, they're both smoking. She's there, and what's also strange, right? So you look at like Home Alone, and you've got the toy shop in New York, and it's a bloke who runs a toy shop. Fucking Robert Loggia's character is literally running a toy shop in New York, but also produces his own toys, like he's Mattel. Yeah. What's going on? He's got this fucking Willy Wonka factory in the back there, making the best toys in the world from his fucking New York shop that he's renting on Fifth Avenue. And it's like, how is that even possible? Like, what how successful is your store that you've got all these fucking, suits fucking deciding on these toys and that? It's bizarre, isn't it? It's like, really, it's really, when you think of that dynamic, I'm just like, that's it. But I mean, the most impressive thing, go on.
Go on.
I was going to say that in the last bit, the most impressive thing about Robert Loggia's character, right, and the most fascinating, Mr. McMillan, is who the fuck decided to dye his hair ginger? because it looks ridiculous. It's like he's got grey hair. He's obviously trying to make him look younger. I don't know. It looks fucking awful, Dave. It's just like he's going to some punk fucking fancy dress do or something. It's ridiculous.
Like some 1970s punk reunion, but in 2023.
Yeah,
someone who's trying to recapture, the punk years, but they're like 70. I agree. So much of what you said there, it struck me as well. It's like, you're basically wanting to compete with, Mattel or Hasbro or something like that, and create your own toys. You literally the name dropping the Transformers several times, and I was like, this is a bit fucking weird. But we're clearly this. I was going to say it's a kids' film, but it's kind of not, is it? Because it's all about that in-betweener stage. So kids, but slash teenagers. This is the sweet spot for me. That's where it's aimed. But then even I don't know, I guess it didn't occur to us back then, did it? So we didn't care. I guess when they made this, they didn't necessarily think, all these years, nearly 40 years later, someone would be like, oh well, the continuity in this is all over the shop. He would never be the manufacturer of his own toys and the design thinking workshops, to come up with the next toy for Christmas or something. So yeah, but it is nonsense.
It is nonsense, and I am questioning Susan more than ever watching this, because Paul's a bellend and he's a bellend, but morally he's a fucking boyfriend. And what I don't like about Susan's character, I always had a bit of a thing for her, Dave. I know, like some people, she might not be some people's cup of tea, but as a kid growing up, we all know about my Helga story. Now she's not Helga. It's not probably Bridget Nielsen, as we sort of deciphered watching Beverly Hills Cop 2, but the idea of like, a woman, she can show you the ropes, and that, Dave, was always the dream. Probably all of us. It was the dream for me. I'm not even going to lie. It was the dream. So I always had a thing for Elizabeth Perkins, like in a couple of movies she did after this as well. But
yeah, I've
got a question of morals here, Dave, because Paul gets fucked off. Well, I know he's a bellend, and that's the whole point of his character. But she's with him. She's in their flat, and it's a penthouse thing, whatever it is. They're obviously paid handsomely. But then she looks at this guy, because he ends up becoming vice president of fucking, like, the whatever he is. Yeah. And she thinks, I can get up the ladder here, And that's what I don't think now that wouldn't fly at all, and I get it. But for her self, she is basically a social climber, not social, I suppose industry climber, and that's not in a bad way. I just think it doesn't do a good job of doing that, because Paul, as much as he's a knob, she's like, well, fuck Paul, who is that? You know what I mean? Like, so it's weird, isn't it? It's a really weird dynamic. And I do like the bit though when they go on the dates, and then he takes her back to the fucking apartment, and she's in the bed in his pyjamas on a bunk bed, thinking she's going to get a bit of action, and he jumps on the top bunk. Now that is proper kids naivety, innit? And then he's pissing about and all this sort of thing, and she's like, well, what's going on here? Is this guy for real? Is he a real gentleman? I'm not bothered if you're not a gentleman. Get in here. So I do like that dynamic of it, because it's just funny, isn't it? It's usually the bloke who gets let down, Dave, isn't it? Like typical bloke, all of us thinking, oh, hang on a minute, there's a chance. And he's just like, nah, I'm going to sleep. Night. Don't let the bed bugs bite. So, yeah, I do like some of the things.
But you're right. I mean, we were weirdly in tune today, because I thought the same thing. I just thought absolute corporate ladder climber. Paul used to be the star of the show, but clearly his ideas are being superseded now by Josh. And so it's like, oh, well, I'll have a bit of that then. You can say, if you let go of that, you can still see that, she does like him. But
yeah,
the way she was kind of in Paul's apartment initially just made me think, this is a bit more, wrong than I thought. And I don't know, maybe they were trying to convey that, or maybe they were saying it's the 80s, so no one gives a fuck. It's all dog eat dog, and so this is okay behaviour. But yeah, I felt that was off as well with her character. And when she goes back to his, And it's that line, isn't it? He's asking, "Wow, do you want to stay over? You mean for a sleepover?" It's like, okay, but I get to be on top. And yet she's still thinking, okay, I'm in for some action here. She does look rather lovely, I have to say, Chris, in just the, like the pajamas. Basically, there's nothing particularly sexy about them, but quite an iconic scene. But again, I have to point out what we were talking about earlier, that this is 13-year-old Josh, right? He wouldn't be that naive. He would if he was 7 or 8, though, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
And so again, quite an iconic moment. But I'm just like, it's not really realistic, is he? I mean, he'd be touching the fucking ceiling like all night, I'm sure, if he was on that top bunk.
I tell you what, Dave. Yeah, exactly. The fucking mattress would be pushing down if he lay on his front, wouldn't it? I would be. I agree with that. The whole thing that you just said. I completely with you. And I think what gets me, Dev, I've got to call out the police in this fucking movie. We don't see him really, other than when fucking Billy's getting his clothes and does a runner after he first gone. And he rings his mum, doesn't he, as adult Josh, and he's chatting to her, and it's like, they'd have a fucking wire on the phone, wouldn't they? They'd have something to try and find this kid. Nobody gives a fuck about him. The police, there's just nothing. It's not like we see news reports, like a bit of foreshadowing in the background, like, oh yeah, we're bringing reports, it's been 2 months now and we've still not found Josh and blah blah blah, and his mum and dad are...
Yeah.
The mum, to be fair, she's upset about him, but she's still going on with her daily life. That would be it. You would be out, and I won't wish that on anybody, but you would be out every single day. So there's a lot of stuff that as a movie they don't touch on. They just touch on the fact that Josh has gone and become an adult and living his best fucking life for nearly 3 months. Forget his mum and dad and the outer family or anything. It doesn't really matter. But as long as he's having a good time, and that's what I think watching it this time is so weird, because like you said, but we both agreed on the age thing, his mental capacity to do that. But then what I think happens is there's loads of... It feels like, I know there's an extended version. There's one that's like on for 130 minutes. So I know it sounds daft, Dave, but I probably would watch that. And this is on Disney, so it's not the Prime or Netflix VHS Strikes Back special where it's going to disappear. It's on there, but I would like to watch the extended one because I feel that there's a lot of context missing out of the released one. And I know it's iconic. It made a load of money, and people love this movie. I get it, but I just feel at times now I would love a bit more to Josh's character with his family as well. What was the sort of the breakout from that? What happened? How did his mum and dad cope? Not too much. I'm not saying we need like a full-on depressing movie, but I think just these bits now watching it that I just don't think stand up like 36 years later or whatever it is. It feels like these rushed bits because we get Josh enjoying himself, getting with Susan, but then when they have a bit together, Josh then becomes this adult, doesn't he? Because he's like sowed his oats and he fucks Billy off and he's wearing a suit now and he's all busy in here and I can't. But again, it happens dead quick. Again, that turn from Josh wearing jeans and fucking Hawaii shirts and coming to that bloody formal dress thing, dressed like he's some out of fucking The Wedding Singer or something. Yeah, Dumb and Dumber basically. That's obviously where the suit must have come from. But he is into it. It's very quick. The start and the end just seem to wrap themselves up really quick for me, and I just wanted a little bit more. I wanted a bit more of Billy playing on Josh's conscience of like, you need to remember who you are. Your mum and dad miss you, and it takes him having a go at him once for him to start. I've got to say, question it. Nobody questions the man in a fucking suit and overcoat at a fucking school fucking picture shooting and walking around playgrounds and everything, just watching everybody doe-eyed.
No one questioned that shit.
No one questioned that shit. Doe-eyed, looking at all these kids playing fucking basketball and everything. It's fucking weird, that bit, Dave. Now it really is.
Do you remember Rita, Bob and Sue too? When you had the fucking lechy bloke just watching the girls all playing tennis.
Tennis comes to the school, Bob. Oh, the other one, the other lechy one, fuck off you and all this. But it's like, well, it's a bit fucking bizarre. But let's see what this is.
The 80s.
Yeah, it's fine. Don't worry, Dave. Nobody will be traumatised.
Now, Chris, you've used the words there and you've hinted at it a little bit. You talked about Josh becoming an adult, which he does first, but then he becomes a man. I mean, where do you sit on this whole debate about kind of the fact that he is just literally turned 13. You know, his birthday is, you know, you see adult Josh, you know, and Billy brings him a cake and everything. So, you know, gets to have his way, and but he is still 13 mentally, Chris.
Well, I think there is a wider picture, and it's something. I mean, look, it's not Gal Gadot fucking Wonder Woman. Like, you know, let's get honest there, Dave, because that's dodgy as fuck. But it just seems to get a pass because it's a bloke. Yeah, but if
and it's Gal Gadot, everyone's like, yeah, this is okay. Just possess that guy's body. He's got no fucking say in any of this at all, and use him as a fucking sex toy.
Yeah, I mean,
it's all fine.
I'm not saying that I would be complaining, Dave. However, this film would not work, and let's be honest, this film would not work if the main character was a 13-year-old girl becoming a woman. It doesn't work, Dave. It doesn't work. And me being Chris, all right, joking aside and everything, and that as a parent and that, it's just doesn't work. You can't make a film like this anymore. So you could make everything about this movie other than the romance side of it. You couldn't get away with it at all, and quite rightly. But I also think Chris being sleazy, fucking, you know, pulling one off at this point in my life, Dave. This was the dream. So I had total respect for Josh, but from a moral point of view, no.
Yeah, and 100% agree with what you're saying there, Chris. You look at it slightly differently as a parent, and you're thinking, I would not be okay with this. But as a 13-year-old boy, I would be so okay with this.
Yeah, I know. Fucking.
I would be more than okay with this. I would, you know, literally, I could die and go to heaven. Then, you know, that'd be how I was thinking back then.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's mad how you think one is yourself and then one is a parent. But yes, it wouldn't work. if it was a girl, a 13-year-old girl gone missing and became an adult, not a chance. It wouldn't have been made in '88, would it? It's a weird acceptance that it's okay for a lad to do that, and also.
It's repeated though over and over again, isn't it? Like you say, with even as recent as the Wonder Woman movie, but you know, Weird Science we covered as well, where I think they're a little bit older. I think they might be 14 or 15. But you know, having a good old snog with Kelly LeBrock there, you know, and that's all completely fine.
Yeah, and Kelly LeBrock. I mean, she talks about that, doesn't she? How like she was 14 and all that, you know, and it was a very, even then it was quite a controversial scene, wasn't it? You know, for him to play out. But I think the way they do it with this, once he decides he's going to become, you know, or try and find the Zoltar machine, which again, I agree with you, Dave, iconic. If I ever see the Zoltar machine, I always go over and see if I can put some money in it. I have done, you know, or something similar, you know, like you've seen the machines and that. And it is such an iconic pop culture movie, this. This is like what we talked about, they're doing the VHS Strikes Back. Not you taking down us down a Lauren Avedon fucking route like you have done, Dave, over the years. But this was what this movie's about, into iconic scenes, the piano, you know, Tom Hanks becoming an adult, you know, the whole Zoltar. These are all things that we think about. And we were going to do the podcast like all them years ago. So I do like all that, and I like the fact that when he goes back to the machine, it's a proper windy, like seafront thing, you know, and all that. And you've got that little bit of magic there, haven't you? Almost. I tell you also what, Dave. Another movie we've done, which is very similar to this, but is Mr. Destiny, which obviously ripped off from Big.
Yeah.
You know, that idea of he's got to find Michael Caine, and he wants to be, you know, drink the milk. He wants to be sort of back to his old life and all that. You know, if he'd only hit that ball, that would have been it for him. When he settled for life and all that. And this is very similar. Obviously, Mr. Destiny definitely ripped it off. It was '92 when that came out. And I do like that, and I think at the end when she realises and she sees Billy, and she's like, she obviously is in love with him. Like, you're completely right. She gets feelings for him. She's in love with Josh. Sorry, and then she comes to like where Billy had said that the Zoltar machine was, and she accepts it then because what changes then, what gets me is there's a scene that's very clever. He goes to kiss her and she kisses him on the forehead before he's changed. Tom Hanks.
Yeah,
I like that.
I noticed that.
She realises there's a couple of little things at the end that are very, very subtle, but I do love the way that he changes. I do like that scene, Dave. It's like a blink and you'll miss it, and she puts it, and it just works with the suit. So I do think it ends nicely and all that, but that little thing where she kisses him on the head is very, very clever. I'll give him that.
Yeah, I mean, it got really fucking wrong if she wanted to get saucy then, wouldn't it? But and I agree that I'm going to be an arsehole here. I'm going. You've been very, very serious there, and that is a sweet, sweet scene, and when he changes and stuff. But I'm going to do the opposite, Chris. I'm going to take it down a route, because honestly, I think my favourite line, and picture the scene, right? So it's been a few years since I've watched this, and so I don't remember individual bits. You remember the iconic bits, but not the bits of dialogue in between. And honestly, when he's obviously missing home. I know where the movie ends, and I know he's got to come clean and everything, but when she says he's got to admit to something, and she goes, "Oh my God, you're married?" Because he says like he misses his family, and honestly, Chris, I mean, I don't know about you, but like when I'm watching movies, I don't tend to laugh out loud that quickly, but when she says that line, "Oh my God, you're married," like very quickly in my brain I'm thinking, "Oh, please say no, I'm a child. Please say no, I'm a child. Please say no, I'm a child." And he says it like, "No, I'm a child," and I'm thinking, "Oh, you thought being married was the worst thing." No, I'm actually a child. And then, so she takes it rather well, to be fair. But then I'm thinking, and it's a great scene, you're right, when he transitions from adult Josh to young Josh. What the hell is going through her head? She's literally in the car watching him do the and he transitioned, and he's now a little boy, and he looks back, and she's thinking, shit, I banged that kid.
Yeah, she's going to be in therapy for ages.
Yeah, that is life-changing. She'd probably be in a fucking mental institute or something. I mean, that would fuck you up, surely.
100%. I can't believe how much we're in agreement watching this. I think we know these movies like that, this is what we take the mick out of and that, but watching it, you're like, hang on a fucking minute, there's all sorts wrong with this iconic movie. It doesn't, and I've not seen it on telly for a long time there. I know it's on Disney, and obviously it's there, it's thingy, but it's so bizarre, isn't it? It really is bizarre, like the whole ending. There's loads of, like, you've just lined and teed me up for another question now that after we've done the podcast I'm actually going to care about. I don't know fucking why. I'm going to be like, well, did you think she had therapy? Like, Chris, shut the fuck up. It doesn't matter. It's the end of the movie. That's it. But there is them questions, isn't there, of like, well, she would have been mentally scarred there for a long time. She probably never got in a relationship for a long time after this. I'm thinking too much here. But I just love the fact that Josh just strolls back into the house, Dave, takes his shoes off, doesn't he? And then he's like, hello, I'm back. And his mum's like, Josh, is that you? Well, yeah, you've been waiting to hear his voice for, 3 months now? He's just strolled back into the fucking kitchen or the living room. And we don't get to see that, do we? And it just ends. I don't know whether that's the right choice now, looking at it, but
I think it might be. I mean, can you imagine, Chris, if they did like a Cobra Kai type thing where they continue, in real time, and then they pick up their lives, and we find out that Susan did a 10 stretch because under intense police questioning, Josh lets it slip that, he'd been to New York and then slept with Susan.
She'll be in that orange jumpsuit before the end of this fucking film,
exactly.
Won't she? That's a good point, that, actually, Dave. Very good point. But it's weird how we're in sync with this sort of thing with this one, because I didn't intentionally come in to take the piss, but I was like, I've got to speak to Dave about this. There's just stuff that doesn't sit well with me now. But yeah, no, I've enjoyed it. It was a great pick. I mean, this was one we have talked about, not like saying we've got to do big, but we've talked about it, haven't we? We know other podcasts have done it in the past that we've talked about and said, oh, I want to do that. And I'm really interested to see where, like, I've got a couple of 80s movies around this time, not necessarily big. I don't think I'll ever pick Vice Versa, because I know Fred Savage is in it as like the son and it's Judge Rhino, but I don't think I've got the legs, because I think it's going to be fucking awful. This is the pinnacle of these sort of child swap movies more than anything, to become an adult. Or
I
vice versa.
suspect.
I don't want to waste another pick.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Well, it's the year is 2030.
Chris has still not picked a good
We're
movie
going
he enjoys.
But I don't know. I reckon, like we've pointed out with this, like with Weird Science and that, just around this time, it's totally okay to be inappropriate, because it's wish fulfillment. I suspect in that there might be a bit of questionable antics as well. I've seen it, and I think it's one of those movies, isn't it, that gets done over and over again with like different characters. I seem to remember there's an earlier one with like Jodie Foster, which vice versa, which the Judge Reinhold one was after, and then more recently than that, like I think there's a Lindsay Lohan one, isn't there?
Yes.
So I think it's one of those that's been done over and over again. But yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't mind doing that one at some point.
Yeah, let's see. I'm not wasting a fucking pick just yet, Dave. Okay, I'm not wasting a pick. I've done that too many times this year. But anyway, shall we get into our scores?
Let's go.
So, mate, brilliant pick. I've loved this. It's so fun. I'm going to be pissing myself listening back to this one. But I still think it's a good movie. I still think Tom Hanks is great in it. The setting in New York, the late 80s. The ideas are ridiculous. The fact that he just bumps into the main boss and he likes the fact that he's going to the posting room and he's hustling and he gives him a fucking job when he starts saying about a couple of the toys on the board is stuff of dreams, Dave. This is Chris Phelps' career path that I've dreamt of, getting in the board for doing fuck all. I've tried a few times and got in positions, even in my current job where my mouth's got me in great positions, but then you've got to back it up, Dave, and that's usually when I fall down. So I do like Josh's hustle. And I love the piano scene and all that. And Zoltar is so iconic. But there's just so many stupid things looking back now that just don't make any sense and just wouldn't work. So I don't think it's aged greatly, if I'm being honest. But it's still a fun movie. I was going to say it's a family movie. I'm not sure necessarily it is. But I think people of our age, it's iconic. I wouldn't necessarily show it to my kids and go, oh, look, it's a great idea, this. But... Oh, my kid Dave, I've only got one child actually, who is an adult. Let's just get that right. There's no CSA after me, Dave, or anything. Just throw that in there. So what I would say is I will put it in Hill Valley again. I think I've done this a couple of times recently, but I think it's just in the middle. I think it's a good movie. It's fun. It's so iconic, but there's just such ridiculous leaps, and I just don't like the start now watching it. It's too quick that we get this changing from Josh and everyone just goes with it because he's refused to go on a ride. It's just ridiculous. There's no real context to all this. So yeah, Hill Valley to me, Dave.
Just to digress for a minute, I don't think I have shown this one to my kids, and I'm just very quickly mentally figuring out, should I? It is an iconic 80s movie. I've been trying to, make them watch some of the classics, Predator, watch Commando the other week.
Bringing them up right, Dave. Bringing them
watching
up right.
Lost Boys and stuff like that. So, at least once a month we try and go through, a classic. It's coming up to Christmas, Chris, so Life of Brian will be on at some point. But... yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I would watch. Because of the wrongness. I think kids are in tune with that shit a lot more than we were.
Yeah.
And I can't remember if I discussed this with you on or off podcast. So apologies if I'm repeating myself. But when we were watching, what was that? The reality show, My Mum, Your Dad.
Yes.
And, there was one bit where they all have like a school disco, so these are all people in their 40s and 50s, and then they all dress up in like school gear and stuff, and, it's all a bit of fun. They're having a great time listening to 80s music and all that. And my eldest daughter's like, it's a bit noncy, that, innit?
And I agree with her.
What are you talking about? This is just a bit of fun.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, you know what? She might have something there. There's something I've just taken for granted in my whole fucking life. That this is all a bit of fun. To dress up as like, schoolgirls and schoolboys. And I'm like, oh shit. Maybe that is a thing that I just should have been questioning a lot more.
Yeah, I felt that for a long time. Even like the film St. Trinians and stuff, and that's not to be the moral high ground, but you've seen it when you were at school, or you'd see like women with the pigtails, the little mini skirt things and all that, and you'd be like, oh yeah. But when you actually take a step back, I think he does right, Dave. I've said to you before, the line out of the Sweeney, I've mentioned it on this podcast. Dennis Waterman's driving down the road, and they've got the driver. I think he's called George, the driver, or Terry. I think George was his character. But they're driving, and they go past the school, and Dennis Waterman, who's a copper, goes, "Oh, fucking love a good schoolgirl, me." And this is like something from the 70s, and you're like, holy fuck. How many variety shows have we watched growing up in the 80s and skits like that, where you get the big boobed woman with the pigtails, and she's got like the shirt open, showing a bra and her boobs, and she's got the mini skirt and the high heels and all that stuff, Dave. And that's and it is like a Halloween outfit in some respects, isn't it? But less and less that is shown now, because it's like, hang on a minute, that is a little bit strange, you know, like especially when old Grandad in the corner goes, "Oh, this takes me back," you know what I mean?
Fucking hell. It's just
it's
wrong, isn't it?
It's so wrong. It is. It's just wrong. So anyway, we've gone on a proper tangent. So what did you score it, Dave?
I'll come back to my wrap-up thoughts, because, you know, we poked a bit of fun in it, or poked a lot of fun in it, and there's so much wrong just in the writing, the pacing of it. It goes far too quickly at the start, and then wraps up pretty quickly at the end. But there are so many iconic bits as well. I still love this movie. And so I think objectively, you know, there are lots of problems with it, but I think the nostalgia pulls it up from where you are. I think, for me, it's a Pleasantville. Now, I went into this, Chris, thinking I'm probably going to put this in a Cloud City, but the amount of things kind of wrong with it, I just pulled it down a bit. And I know there's probably people listening like, you fucking pair of bellends, this is Cloud City all day long. But no, I think for me it is a Pleasantville. It's just, you know, great iconic movies, great iconic bits, completing our Robert Loggia trilogy, Chris. But yeah, no, Pleasantville it is.
Oh, no, good stuff, mate. Good stuff. I'm glad you picked it, because it's one we've chalked off now for finally doing, and it is an 80s iconic movie. So next week, Dave, our great friend and patron Helen has picked a movie. I've actually seen this one, Dave. I've only seen it once. I think this is when I was renting the free VHSs out, and I had that card of my granddad's many years ago in the early 90s. But we're going back, Dave, to 1989, and this one is not Sharon Stone, Kathleen Turner, Michael Douglas. Sharon Stone, that's another movie that I've never picked. Fucking Basic Instinct, Dave, for obvious reasons. I know exactly at 38 minutes and something when all that happened. Don't you worry about that. And Sliver. But anyway, stop it, Chris. Stop it. No shoulder jokes. But no, you've got Kathleen Turner, you've got Michael Douglas, and you've got Danny DeVito, Dave. So Helen has picked The War of the Roses. So let's get into the trailer.
Let's go.
This is the most romantic day of my whole life.
This is the story we're going to tell our grandchildren.
Barbara and Oliver Rose.
I don't know how I
Wait a minute,
watched
wait,
this,
what's
Chris.
your name?
I remember seeing the trailer.
They met.
I love Romance in the Stone.
I love rain.
Jewel of the Nile.
I love it too.
Yeah.
See the 2
They agreed on that.
Are you happy?
I'm more than happy. I'm married.
This house is so beautiful.
It's obviously off
And we
the
live
back
here.
of Romance in the
House,
Stone.
car, boy, girl, puppy, kitty.
Yeah.
The poor bastards never had a chance.
Your crystal is lovely.
Back around.
I didn't know anything about this before I met Oliver. My mother bought her glasses at the A&P, you know, the kind with the raised...
It always starts with the little things.
And that phony laugh.
I might enjoy this, Chris.
All right, maybe overdid it.
I might have a good perspective on this now.
If love is blind,
I'm going to watch this with Sam and
marriage is like having a stroke.
When I watch you eat, when I look at
I
you
get that all the
lately,
time.
I just want to smash your face in.
Smash my face.
It's like me and Sam.
I want a divorce.
You can't have one. When a couple starts keeping score, there is no winning. It's only degrees of
This is the
losing.
third movie where Danny DeVito's like narrating these two.
Everything in it with my money. It's a lot easier to spend than it is to make it, honey bun.
You might not have made it if not for me, sweet cakes.
Never underestimate her as an adversary. Don't even talk to her.
Mitch,
Oh, this is brilliant.
The yellow areas are mine. The red
We're going to
areas
have to have a
are hers.
fucking counselling
This
session,
seems
Dave.
rational
We
to
can't
you,
mind
Bob?
this one.
Got more square footage.
These people are going to hurt
This is a
each
bit like
other.
Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Dave. You know,
I was thinking that. I was thinking that, well, obviously,
When trouble
Mr. and
begins,
Miss Smith came
it comes at you
way
from
after
directions you'd
this,
never
but
expect.
I've not seen that one either.
We
But
haven't
I
passed any
remember
point of no
thinking,
return.
Yeah,
I have.
It's been done before.
I'm sorry. I thought you were Barbara.
Michael Douglas.
Nobody who makes pate this good can be all bad.
Kathleen Turner.
That depends on what the pate is made of.
And Danny DeVito.
Sounds like a fairy tale, doesn't it?
The War of the Roses. Directed by Danny DeVito.
I've definitely seen this one, Dave. I've never seen it. I can't wait for next week.
Yeah.
You are going to be on form. I can just feel it.
This might be a 2-hour podcast, to be honest. I mean, like,
Take us back to the beginning, Dave.
It is like that, yeah.
This is going to be brilliant. Oh, thank you, Helen. This is amazing. So, honestly, massive thank you to everyone. We absolutely love movies like this. I would never have picked this one, Dave. I've definitely seen it. So, I can't wait for your analysis on this one. And if you want to email us, guys, VHSstrikesback@gmail.com. If you want surfing lessons, karate lessons, we're still open for business. The Miyagi-Do is still there somewhere. If you've got a chance, drop us a review on your podcast catching up, guys. It just gets us up into some of them charts. If you do want to support us, get over to patreon.com/the VHS Strikes Back. So, the roll call of honour, a massive thank you to... Here we go, Dave. Lee, Helen, Dylan, Stephen, Trent, Dan, Justin, Susan, Timothy, Matt, Heath, Ken, Lucky Lulu Green, Herbs, Jax, Math, Blake, John Hammond, and Mr. Tony Farina. So thank you so much, guys, for all your support. We really appreciate it. And I'm looking forward to next week. And with this being your pick, Dave, you have got to take us out with a quote, my friend.
Oh, fucking hell. You know, I've been pretty good the last few
You've
months.
completely
but,
forgot.
There must be something.
You know what, Dave?
I've said about the child.
I've got a line that I think is appropriate for both of us if you want me to take us out. And I think it's something that through our lives we've both wished this, Dave, and we both wish we had a Zoltar machine. And it's just simply a 5-letter line. And all I'm going to say is, Dave, I wish I were big.
Awesome stuff. Well, thank you very much, sir. Thanks for indulging me. Thanks for taking us on this therapy session. Thanks to all our listeners out there. Thanks to all our supporters. And we'll speak to you next time.
Bye.
That's it, man. It's game over, man. It's game over. What the fuck are we gonna do now? What are we gonna do?
Maybe we could build a fire, sing a couple of songs, huh? Why don't we try that?
We better get back, because it'll be dark soon, and they mostly come at night. Mostly.
I'll be back.
That's not. We came, we saw, we kicked its ass.
Wax on, wax off.
Get to the chopper!
One ring to go.
All right. Ding, ding.
Bust you up. Go for it.
Well, here we go.
Ain't so bad. Ain't so bad. Ain't so bad. Come on. Ain't so bad. Ain't nothing. Come on. You must be crazy or something. I'm crazy. You just a stupid fool. Maybe you crazy. I ain't breathing heavy. He's a fool. He's stupid. I've seen you in 6 months. I must break you.